Hey guys, so today we're going to be reading chapter 3 of Isadora Moon. I'm at the park. Chapter 3. We had to fly quite a long way to the place where the midsummer dance was to be held. By the time we got there, it was dusk and I was hungry, but I still couldn't help gasping at Mum Wilbur, and I circled above the party on our broomsticks. A big fire had been lit in the middle of the clearing in a huge forest, and all around it multicolored fairy lights had been strung through the trees. There were tables upon tables of delicious fairy food, strawberry cakes, butterscotch biscuits, and flower petal sandwiches. My tummy started to rumble. Fairy food is the best. Look, said Dad, pointing. There's my sister Cordelia, and your uncle Bartholomew too. He flew down towards a crowd of fairies, and we all followed. I was excited to see my cousin Isadora Moon. There she is, that one. Isadora is half fairy like me, except her dad, Bartholomew, is a vampire, which makes her a vampire fairy. That's so cool. Oh, good, said Mum. We won't be the only odd ones out tonight. Isadora, I yelled, landing on the ground with a skid and giving her a big hug. Mirabelle, said Isadora. She looked pleased to see me, and her little bat wings fluttered with excitement. Pink Rabbit bounced up and down beside her, and I gave his head a pat. Pink Rabbit used to be Isadora's favorite cuddly toy, but her mum magicked him alive with her fairy wand. I always feel a little bit jealous of Pink Rabbit, actually. I wish I had my own special pet. Mum had a black cat, but he's not very nice. He always hisses at me. Let's go and eat some food, I said. Have you seen all the cakes? Yes, said Isadora, but I was waiting for you. We started to push through the crowd towards the food tables, leaving our parents to chat about boring things. Look at those, said Isadora, pointing to a table that was full of pink spun sugar clouds, glinting with tiny sugar diamonds. Fairy floss, I said. I love fairy floss. Me too, said Isadora. We each took one and then wandered towards the big fire, both happily munching and talking at the same time. Then we saw a group of young fairies, about the same age as us, clustered on the grass. They were busy making flower garlands for their hair. Let's make one, said Isadora. So we sat down together and began to twist flowers and leaves into crown shapes. Mine just wouldn't go right. I kept snapping the stems by mistake, and their petals kept falling off my flowers. In the end, I sighed and threw it down on the grass. I'm not good at making flower crowns, I said. I'll help you in a minute, said Isadora. She had made a beautiful garland that was sitting perfectly on top of her messy hair. And now she was busy making a smaller one for Pink Rabbit. Oh, she's making one for the Pink Rabbit. It's okay, I said, suddenly feeling a bit bored of flower crowns. My fingers were starting to twitch, and I reached inside my dress to fill the 2 potion bottles that were resting against my chest. It felt good to have brought a little bit of witch magic with me to this very flowery and fairy celebration. It made me feel a little bit more like me. Isadora, I whispered, suddenly feeling the urge to just be a bit mischievous. I was confused the word mischievous with mischievous, but the right one is mischievous. Do you want to know a secret? What secret? Asked Isadora, looking up. I reached into my dress and lifted out the 2 little potion bottles. They sparkled and glinted in the evening sunlight. Isadora's eyes were big and round. Mirabelle, she said. You're not supposed to bring witch magic to a fairy celebration. I know, I said, but look how pretty the bottles are. What's inside them? Asked Isadora. One's dragon's breath, I said, but I don't know about the other one. I just found it in my mum's potion room. I shook the little bottle so that the sparkly purple seeds tinkled against the glass. I wonder what it does, I said, starting to feel intrigued. Maybe we should go into the woods and find out. Isadora shook her head. Your witch magic always gets us into trouble. I wouldn't, I said. I promise. We could go and experiment in secret. No one would ever know. Isadora looked worried. I don't think it's a good idea, she said. Just then some music started to play, and fairies all around us got up and started flittering toward the huge fire. The dancing's about to start. Isadora said, looking relieved. We can't miss the dancing. Come on. She held out her hand for me to take, but I shook my head. I'll catch up with you in a minute. I said, I need to finish my flower crown. You go. You love dancing. Isadora didn't look like she believed me. Look, she doesn't believe it. But she got up anyway, took Pink Rabbit's paw and disappeared into the crowd. I stared over at the fire and spotted Mom and Dad beginning to dance. I could see my mom's black pointed boots poking out from under her pale mauve fairy dress. I knew she would be finding it hard to be a fairy for the night too, especially as she's a full-blown witch. I stayed on the grass for a few minutes, fiddling with my flower crown, trying to resist the overwhelming urge that had just come over me to sneak off into the forest and do a little bit of magic. I had promised myself that I wouldn't do anything with the tiny potions tonight, and more importantly, I had promised Dad I would be good that night, all night, and not do any witchy magic. But the feel of the bottles against my skin was irresistible. I love experimenting with making potions. It was my favorite thing to do. I stood up and turned away from the campfire, walking in the opposite direction towards the trees. Oh, we'll be fine. It will be fine, I told myself as I walked deep into the woods. I'll just go and do a little bit of magic on my own. No one will ever know. Dad will never know. And then I'll go and join in with everybody. Next one's going to be chapter 4. I hope you liked it. Bye.